What if I told you the most famous golden rule of renting is actually a massive historical accident? For decades, financial gurus have aggressively preached that you should never, ever spend more than 30% of your income on rent. But here is the crazy truth. That 30% rule was never meant to be personal finance advice. It originally started way back in 1969 as a government rent cap specifically for public housing. Fast forward to 2026, and blindly following that outdated logic is basically setting your bank account on fire. Hey friends, Money Lab here. Today, we are tearing up that dusty old playbook to figure out exactly how much of your paycheck should realistically go to your landlord right now. With living costs completely detached from reality, trying to force your modern budget into a 50-year-old mold is like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. So, what is the actual percentage you should aim for today, without eating instant noodles for every single meal? The true number might just make your jaw drop. Let us break it down. 1. The 30% myth. Let us look at a law called the Brooke Amendment. Back when a gallon of milk cost a few shiny dimes, a politician named Edward Brooke pushed a rule to cap public housing rent at 25, and later, 30% of a tenant's income. It was a poverty safety net, not a budgeting hack for your corner apartment, but somehow, Wall Street gurus morphed this welfare policy into the golden rule of personal finance. Fast forward to July 2026, and the average standard apartment in the United States hit $1,750 per month. If you follow the 30% rule, you need to make at least $70,000 a year just to rent an absolutely average, unexciting box. For most young adults, wage growth has completely stalled, while rent has strapped itself to a rocket ship. A May 2026 survey showed that 54% of Gen Z renters are now forced to hand over 40% or more of their take-home pay just to keep a roof over their heads. If you live in a major city like Los Angeles, Gen Z renters are burning through 42.2% of their gross income. Nationwide, nearly 60% of young renters are officially classified as rent-burdened. They are not buying fancy coffee, they are just trying to survive a housing market that ignores basic math. A massive 86% of millennials and Gen Z have delayed life milestones like buying a home because of this. The 30% rule is officially dead. So if that benchmark is a total mathematical fantasy, what exact slice of your paycheck should you realistically surrender in 2026? 2. The 2026 rental reality. The reality is that the financial goalposts have not just been moved, they have been completely dismantled, packed into a moving truck, and sold to a massive real estate conglomerate. If you are currently handing over almost half of your monthly paycheck to a landlord and feeling like a massive financial failure, I need you to stop right now. Take a deep breath. You are not bad at money, and you are definitely not crazy. You are simply trying to play a completely rigged game using a rulebook that expired decades ago. For years, older generations and internet finance gurus have been aggressively pointing fingers at your lifestyle choices. They confidently claim you are broke because of avocado toast, fancy iced lattes, and premium streaming subscriptions. But let us be perfectly clear. Those small daily comforts have absolutely nothing to do with the structural collapse of affordable housing. You could cancel every single subscription, eat plain white rice for dinner every single night, and you would still deeply struggle to hit that mythical 30% mark. Let us look at the brutal systemic shift that has fundamentally altered the modern economy. The real culprit here is the massive, terrifying disconnect between what everyday people earn and what basic survival actually costs. While average wages have stubbornly crawled forward at a snail's pace over the last decade, housing costs have sprinted ahead like a gold medal Olympic athlete. Decades ago, a single, average salary could comfortably cover rent, utilities, groceries, and still leave plenty of room for a robust savings account and an annual vacation. Today, the economy practically demands a dual income just to qualify for a completely unexciting one-bedroom apartment. Property managers now routinely demand strict proof that you make 3 or even 4 times the monthly rent before they will even process your application. When you combine that aggressive barrier to entry with soaring utility bills, it forces millions of perfectly responsible, hard-working adults into a brutal corner. And it is crucial to understand that natural inflation is not the only thing causing this pain. The entire rental landscape has been heavily hijacked by institutional investors and algorithmic pricing software. The friendly mum and pop landlord who might cut you a break because you are a reliable tenant is rapidly becoming an endangered species. Instead, massive corporate property management firms use highly advanced, centralized data systems to push rents to the absolute maximum threshold of what a local market can physically endure. The software knows exactly how much they can legally squeeze your budget before you break. The baseline cost of basic human shelter is now intentionally and ruthlessly optimized against your wallet. Then comes the avalanche of hidden costs that completely destroy any spreadsheet you try to make. We are talking about mandatory trash valet fees, forced package locker subscriptions, pet rent, luxury amenity fees for a pool you never use, and ridiculous monthly administrative charges. By the time you actually move your boxes into the apartment, your carefully calculated 30% budget has instantly ballooned into 40 or 50% without warning. And please, ignore the out-of-touch advice telling you to just pack up and move somewhere cheaper. The cheap towns usually do not have the modern jobs you desperately need to pay off your heavy student loans or advance your specific career. You are effectively trapped in high-cost geographic zones, because that is where the economic opportunity actually exists. The undeniable truth of 2026 is that aiming to spend only 30% of your income on rent is a rare luxury, not a baseline standard. For the vast majority of young working professionals today, surrendering 40 to 50% of your take-home pay is the harsh new normal. It is incredibly frustrating, but it is the reality of our current economic squeeze. Shed the guilt, because the math is simply not in your favor. But knowing the system is fundamentally broken does not magically put food on the table. If handing over 40 or 50% of your hard-earned money is the new baseline, how do you mathematically construct a budget that prevents you from going completely broke? 3. Sacrifice and survival. The golden 50-30-20 budgeting rule is officially a mathematical corpse in 2026. For decades, experts confidently instructed you to put 50% of your income toward essential needs, 30% toward lifestyle wants, and a strict 20% into long-term savings. But what happens when your landlord forcefully swallows that entire needs bucket before you even pay your electric bill or buy a single loaf of bread? You end up staring at a digital spreadsheet that demands you make physical sacrifices that violate the laws of mathematics. If your rent automatically eats half your take-home pay, and basic utilities, health insurance, student loan minimums, and groceries consume another 30%, you are already operating at 80% capacity just to exist. Trying to force your brutal 2026 reality into that vintage, perfectly balanced financial framework will only make you feel like an absolute failure. It is time to throw away those colorful pie charts, shed the immense guilt, and embrace a much grittier survival tactic known as reverse budgeting. Reverse budgeting flips the entire script on traditional personal finance. Instead of arbitrarily assigning hopeful percentages to different categories, you accept the heavy blows up front. You pay the absolute, unavoidable non-negotiables at the very top of your budget. Your aggressive rent, mandatory debt payments, basic utilities, and survival groceries. You aggressively deduct those massive fixed costs from your paycheck the exact second the money hits your bank account. Whatever tiny, battered number is left sitting at the bottom of the ledger, that is your actual, undeniable reality. That is the only pile of money you have left to fight over for the rest of the month. But here is exactly where the heavy sacrifice truly begins. In reverse budgeting, you do not get to neatly and comfortably divide the remaining leftovers between weekend fun and future wealth. You are instantly forced into a violent, unavoidable cage match between your present sanity and your long-term financial security. If you only have 20% of your total income left over after merely surviving the month, you have to make a deeply ruthless choice. Do you aggressively fund a Roth individual retirement account and save for an elusive home down payment? Or do you occasionally go out to dinner with your friends so you do not completely lose your mind? In the modern 2026 economy, an alarming number of young renters are quietly chopping their monthly savings rate down to zero just to afford a minimal, basic social life. Or, conversely, they are choosing to live like absolute hermits inside their terribly expensive apartments just to scrape together a modest emergency fund. Older financial advisors will actively scream at you through your screen for skipping that 20% savings goal. They will relentlessly warn you about losing the magic of compound interest and facing a steep retirement cliff. But those out-of-touch advisors are completely blind to the agonizing reality of dropping half your paycheck on an average one-bedroom unit. Reverse budgeting is not about achieving some perfectly balanced, aesthetic financial harmony. It is pure, unadulterated damage control. It is about actively and intentionally deciding which specific part of your financial life gets temporarily paused while you weather this unprecedented, historic housing storm. Maybe you deliberately pause your stock market investing for 2 straight years while you aggressively hunt for a higher-paying career. Or maybe you slash your discretionary lifestyle spending straight to the bone, embracing a hardcore minimalist lifestyle to keep your modest savings account alive. You are the ultimate boss of that remaining sliver of cash, and you have to own the decision. But you cannot pretend the economic squeeze is not happening. The absolute worst thing you can possibly do right now is use high-interest credit cards to artificially fund the 30% lifestyle category that your landlord already devoured. Masking the sharp pain of expensive rent by swiping plastic for your groceries and entertainment is exactly how a temporary financial squeeze rapidly mutates into a permanent, inescapable financial disaster. The underlying math might be incredibly ugly, but keeping your eyes wide open and budgeting in reverse is the only mathematical way you survive it. 4. The real number for 2026. So what is the actual mathematical finish line here? If you live in a major city right now, stop crying over that impossible 30% fantasy. The definitive answer for 2026 is that expecting rent to swallow 35 to 45% of your net income is the realistic new normal. Just look at the brutal math. As of July 2026, the average rent for a standard apartment hit $1,750 a month. In major hubs like Los Angeles, Gen Z is dropping over 42% of their income just to have a roof over their heads. Nationwide, nearly 60% of all Gen Z renters are officially rent-burdened. You are not inherently bad at money, my friends. You are simply participating in a mathematically savage housing market. Accept this 40% reality, deploy your aggressive reverse budget, and stop beating yourself up for delaying major life milestones like buying a house. A recent report showed 86% of young renters are doing the exact same thing. Surviving this economy with your sanity intact is a massive flex all on its own. If this dose of financial reality helped you breathe a little easier, hit that like button, subscribe to X Money Lab, and stay sharp out there.